Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Emily Scarlett.
And I'm Chief Meteorologist Samantha Jacks. Thanks for waking up with us on this Tuesday and maybe continuing with us now that we've hit 9 o'clock. We got a busy week weather-wise again.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that active winter season continuing. We've seen a lot of lake effect snow.
Yes.
This system a bit different.
This system different in the fact that, well, it's system snow, we call it. That's what makes it different. But the nature of the snowfall changes, right? Lake effect snow, one, it usually is on a mile-by-mile basis where we see the impacts, right? You can drive through it and it's like, wow, look at all this snow. You get a mile out and there's nothing. This is going to be a widespread blanket of wet, dense snow, kind of what you picture when you think of a nice winter snow system moving through. We have a lot to talk about, so let's delve into things here. Right now, we're looking at impacts to begin 1 p.m. tomorrow afternoon through 8 a.m. on your Thursday. What are those impacts expected to be? Plowable snow, shovelable snow, right? This is going to be the type of snow that you cannot get away with maybe just ignoring, and you can drive over it on your driveway and it'll be fine by the afternoon hours. This is the type you're going to have to get out there, and if you have a snow blower, you may want to use that rather than the shovel because it is going to be heavier, wetter, denser snow. And if you start to get to the higher end of the range, and we'll talk about snowfall totals in that range here in just a minute, you may want to give yourself even a break when it comes to shoveling because it is, some refer to it as heart attack snow. I don't think it's going to be quite that wet that we can go as far as to say that. But again, just goes to show the nature of the snowfall. It's the one that you start to question how fit you actually are when you're out there shoveling, right? All right, current temperatures this morning, we are sitting in the teens and low 20s. Off to the north and west of us, that's where our flow is coming from right now. We have teens, or sub-zero teens, I should say, -14 right now in Duluth, -6 in Minneapolis. So needless to say, we will not be gaining a ton of heat throughout the day today. So as tomorrow's system arrives, it is certainly going to arrive as snowfall. Temperatures this afternoon making it into the mid-20s. We do have some light snow this morning. We are expecting that snowfall to wrap up by early afternoon and then be back to partly cloudy conditions for the back half of the day today before the onset of our next system. Here's our light snowfall working through the southern zone right now. This is only expected to accumulate a trace to an inch at best. We've already seen our fair share in some of our northern counties earlier this morning. This is very light snow in nature, very different from the snowfall that we're tracking. We've got a lot of moisture to the south of us, and our flow kind of is going to dip down and come back up, dragging this moisture along with it, bringing us our next opportunity for some of that precip. Let's time out the system for you. Look at the broader picture of it, right? So this is 10 a.m. on your Wednesday morning. You can see on the very light edge of that snowfall already by the late morning hours. The heaviest of snow is going to be indicated by the darker shades of blue. We continue to see that snowfall become widespread through your lunchtime hour, continuing on into your evening commute. I think the highest snowfall rates, and we'll look at that in just a minute here, is actually going to be from about 3 o'clock until 8 p.m. That's not great timing for driving wise and for driving conditions. So tomorrow evening's commute is going to be the worst of all the commutes that are impacted by this. We could potentially see impacts linger into your Thursday morning commute as well. This starts to clear the area, or at least starts to give up a little bit of its umph overnight Wednesday and into early Thursday morning. But West Michigan's not done just because that system clears, right? We have northwesterly flow behind it. We know what that means. We will start to see lake effect snow behind it. I do not foresee, as of right now, additional high impacts from the lake effect. Unfortunately, our highest resolution models that we typically rely on for some of our lake effect snowfall totals are still a little bit too far out to see into Thursday afternoon, so we'll watch that. But my gut says that because we have been so cold, that we're not going to see a ton of steam in that lake effect. As for your Friday, that will be nice and quiet. So Friday we get a break, we get to clean all this up, and then we have a secondary system that rolls through on Saturday. This is going to bring another round of widespread system snow. I'm not going to give you snowfall totals for this. I'm really not going to give you very many details at all on this Saturday system, and that's because it's just too early to tell. We got a whole other system ahead of it. We got a round of lake effect snow ahead of it. There's just no point in really trying to predict the future here of something that is going to change. Lake effect snow continues though Sunday into Monday of next week, so that's where we could see a bit more umph to our lake effect snow. Now here is our model predictions in terms of snowfall totals. If you really want to get down to the nitty-gritty of it, you could basically say all of West Michigan is going to be within 5 to 6 inches of snowfall, and I feel very comfortable in that. You start to get up north of US 10, Mason County, Hart area, Pentwater, and you might start to dip below that range, 3 to 4 inches of snowfall for those of you. Now, the question becomes, where does the high end of the range come in, right? You can see we have our range all the way set to 8 inches for portions shaded in this darker blue color. And yes, I do think there will be areas that get hit with 8, 9, maybe even 10 inches of snowfall Wednesday night and into Thursday morning. That's the part of the forecast that I certainly still have a little question mark with. So here's today's snow, very, very light in nature. You're not really going to notice this. It's not going to impact your commute very much. Watch as that snowfall starts to roll in. This is 3 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. Remember, this started at around 11 o'clock, so we're already at 1 to 2 inches of snow on the ground from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. It keeps coming down at some of the higher snowfall rates from that time until around 10 o'clock, so 3 p.m. until 10 p.m. This is where we start to sit right at that widespread 5 to 6 inch mark. You can see a vast majority of West Michigan, 5 to 6 inches of system snow. Notice this particular model, this is our graph model, starts to show that heavier band set up Battle Creek, Lansing, Howell, Pontiac, Flint through Port Huron. I'm not completely sold that that heavier band is going to be in that exact place. We've seen some wiggle in our model runs. We've seen that placed over the greater Grand Rapids area from a line from Mount Pleasant to Ionia, Grand Rapids over to Holland. I don't think I can rule that out just yet, that we might see a shift in where some of the heaviest of snow lines up. But really, you're talking a matter of 1 to 3 additional inches of snowfall. So we're getting really nitty gritty in terms of like snowfall totals there. But I will say, you start to push into 9 inches of snow, and yes, those impacts are going to linger into your Thursday morning. Okay, in terms of what this type of snowfall is like, very different from lake effect snow. We've mentioned that. It's a heavier, wetter snow that's going to come down. Amounts are going to be very similar for a majority of our area, beyond maybe an inch or two variability, and the impacts are going to be widespread, which will take road crews and road commission a little bit longer to clean things up. All right, lakeshore boundary today. We are going to be light snowfall throughout the morning and into the mid-afternoon hours. That light snow, again, accumulating at least an inch, or at most an inch, I should say, at least a trace on the ground for a vast majority of us. And temperature-wise, we will be in the mid-20s. The rest of your 13 on your side 7-day forecast showing off. We've got couple red bars on there. That indicates our 13 weather impact alerts. Impact alerts do not mean the world is ending. They just mean that, hey, we're watching these days for a little more nuance to the forecast than what we typically have on a day-to-day basis. You can see we don't have today highlighted in one for a trace to an inch of snow. We do have some thresholds that need to be met for that to happen.
Yeah, really important for you to point that out, Sam, because of course we've just been doing the alert days the last couple of months now. Yeah. So important for people to understand why we do them. We let you know in advance. So if you have plans tomorrow afternoon or evening, you know, to be on the lookout for something that could be a little messy with those plans.
Yeah, and if you're walking out the door and you see, oh, there's a red highlight on Saturday, that's your message to go, okay, I should actually listen when we're talking about Saturday. Otherwise, I really, you know, I don't expect you to listen too much into detail. I understand it. We're all busy.
Yeah, stay weather aware, especially when you see that red. All right.